Alrighty. What is going on, guys? It's Tazz here, and welcome back to the channel for another episode of the Legion Lounge Live. As always, I am joined by my co-host and brother, Toxic Strike. What is going on, bro?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
As well as another member of the Toxic Legion, Toxic Crusader. What is going on, man?
Hey, how you guys doing today?
So, welcome...
tonight.
Today. I mean, it could be today somewhere. I don't know. It is tonight.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Today, somewhere, always.
It's today somewhere always. Somebody could be watching it during the day. So, good morning, good night, good afternoon, whatever. This is a random intro. Anyway, welcome back to the channel for another fun Mandalorian-centric live stream. Today, we are going to be talking about the most recent episode of The Mandalorian, Chapter 13, Season 2, Episode 5. And before we even say the title, because I guess that's technically a spoiler as well, but I mean, also the thumbnail is kind of a spoiler, so whatever. Big spoiler warning. I mean, this is something that we've kind of known about for a while, but we're going to go fully in depth on this, full details, full spoilers. So if you have not watched this episode yet, and if you are not caught up with The Mandalorian, please go watch it. I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. We don't want to spoil anything for you guys. So yeah, just if you haven't watched the episode yet, go watch it. Full spoilers. And yeah, so give you a second to hop on out and go watch the episode and come back once you have. But yeah, going to be going full on spoiler talk for this episode, and spoilers start right now. So chapter 13, titled The Jedi. We're gonna go fully into that in a minute, but before that, we did want to kind of start things off by just paying our respects to a member of the Star Wars cast that sadly has passed away. David Prowse, who was the physical body of Darth Vader in the original trilogy, has sadly passed away, and we just kind of wanted to pay our respects to such an iconic actor and an iconic role in the Star Wars universe, and his physicality by playing the body of Darth Vader. Movies would have never been the same without him. So just rest in peace, David Prowse, and our thoughts with his family and friends. You guys have anything else to add on that? And if not, we will go into talking about the episode.
Nothing besides just I hope everything's going well for his family, and just rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. Yep, R.I.P.
Yep. Alrighty, so let's talk about this episode. Yo, John in the chat. What's up, man?
Oh, wow.
What'd you think of the episode? Let us know, and if you want us to talk about anything specifically, we will go into that. But just overall initial thoughts. What do you guys think of this episode? Just like initial impressions, because I've got a lot to say.
Yeah. So what I think from beginning of the episode to the end, I think it's very good. I think that it was something that we were expecting, though. So I mean, of course, I wasn't too surprised. I feel like Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano is very good. I feel like she plays the role very well, and I feel like, of course, Dave Filoni was the one writing her. So, I mean, he basically made the character. So, I mean, he knows who the character is at this point. On top of that, I will also say that, I mean, it was just overall good. I mean, it was, of course, setting up other things that would be going on in the Star Wars universe later on, the Filoniverse, whatever. But I mean, I just think it was very good. I don't really know much else I can really say about it. I just thought it was good. If I was to give it a rating, I'd probably give it, like a solid 8.5. It was very good, but it's just, it never really did anything like crazy for me. I mean, I love to see Ahsoka on screen and all that, but I mean, I don't know. It's just personally, I thought it was good, but just not like, I don't know. I like the Bo-Katan episode better. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right,
Yeah, for me,
Crusader. Yeah, what do you think?
I was reading a whole episode from that filler episode from when Bo-Katan was like, yeah, go to Corvus, go find Ahsoka, Tano. So overall, I love the episode, like with the Jedi on that, all that. Like, even though it didn't show like her full potential, it showed like a little short glimpse of it. Like, alright, so it's been a couple years or so. I don't know, a couple years, but several like probably like a decade or in ish from from the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. Well, I like a little bit of the Rebels, but overall, I liked the episode though. It was pretty interesting to see a Mandalorian and a Jedi working together to kind of like liberate the town from that former Imperial officer. I don't want to butcher the girl's name. I don't remember her
Just
name.
the magistrate, I think is
Magistrate?
Yeah, the
magistrate.
magistrate. Yeah,
With that,
I think she had like a more
Yeah.
specific name, but just the magistrate.
yeah, I forgot her name. Yeah, Beskar.
Beskar.
But overall, it was an interesting episode. I was waiting like a whole episode from that.
Yeah. I just thought of we're talking about Beskar. Okay, so here, what is a pirate Mandalorian's favorite treasure?
Beskar?
Beskar. No, Beskar.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Okay,
I'll
I
use that
Beskar.
on Bo-Katan episode.
Yeah, that's horrible. Anyway,
Yeah, you missed
that was
it.
that was horrible. Anyway, so my initial impressions of this episode, I think I probably enjoyed it a lot more than a lot of people are gonna say. Is like a lot of people are gonna say, oh, it's just kind of like, we kind of knew a lot about what was going to happen going into this episode. It was a great episode, but not the best, is I think what the consensus is out there. But personally for me, I think this could be the best episode of the season. I have to watch it again to be sure. I know a lot of people have said it's even better on a second watch. I think right now I'd still probably rank that Bo-Katan episode as my favorite of the season so far, but it's definitely up there in the top 2 or 3. It, again, like I said, on a rewatch, it could take that number 1 spots, but you just can't deny how much crazy stuff it actually kind of adds to the lore and to the story going forward of not just the Mandalorian, but everything else in the entire Filoniverse, which I do want to get to. But just kind of general stuff before we get into specifics. I think it was amazing to see Ahsoka in live action, finally played by Rosario Dawson. It was kind of a fan cast for a while that everybody thought was just kind of a pipe dream, and then it actually happened. So that was really crazy. And, I think the costume and everything translated so well from animation to live action. I think the voice lined up super well. While it wasn't Ashley Eckstein who voiced Ahsoka, who, of course, voices her in the Clone Wars. That is such an iconic voice, but I think Rosario Dawson did a great job of bringing, like, an older version of Ahsoka to live action on screen. And just kind of the overall episode with just, like, adding more lore to things that happened in the past during the Clone Wars with Baby Yoda, who we learned his real name and everything, and all that stuff. I just think everything that it adds to what could possibly happen in the future for these Star Wars live action shows, going from animation to live action, what possible spin-off series could come from this, and also seeing just how well Dave Filoni can translate what was always an animated character and an animated story into live action. And I just hope he gets more opportunities like that in the future to kind of, bring more of his characters to life the same way he did with Ahsoka. So, I think it was much better than like an 8 out of 10. I think it was like closer to a 9 or a 10. Just, I don't know, purely for all the lore stuff, but that's just kind of me. So let's start at the beginning. And this episode wastes no time, gets right into it. And before I waste any more time and don't get right into it, Coker Project, may the force be with you. May the force be with you as well, bro. You gotta watch Mando. You gotta catch up on it, man. You've gotta catch up on it. But so the episode wastes no time. It gets right into everything. We see Ahsoka immediately, and it's just incredible. Like, just the fight scene in general was awesome. I remember you sent me something on TikTok literally like a couple hours ago comparing that scene, because like she disappears into the fog with her lightsabers, like igniting them. de-igniting them, whatever you call it, turning them off and everything, and she like, takes a guy out, disappears into the fog, comes back out and everything, and you sent me something that was a comparison between that and something that Starkiller did in the Force Unleashed games. And
I mean, he didn't really do it in the game.
No, but it's just like, in a trailer.
Yeah, it was about one of the same things. Also, if I do remember, there's also another cinematic kind of thing for the game. Where he was in like this frozen kind of forest thing, and he was like chopping down trees with like dudes and stuff. And I don't know if both those were kind of combined together. It kind of reminded me of that Ahsoka scene. But I will say something before we continue with all this.
Yeah.
I think this is very interesting, and I feel that not exactly that they're making Starkiller into Ahsoka, but like I feel like a lot of elements that are in Starkiller's character are being brought over to Ahsoka, especially like the power level and everything. But I'll get into that later. But I just kind of think that in this episode, she was kind of underpowered. But I'll explain a little bit later.
Okay.
When we get other points.
Okay. Crusader, what do you think about that opening scene?
Well, as you said earlier, it got straight to the point. They were going towards Corvus.
Mm-hmm.
All that, but it also turned before that. Well, Mando and Baby Yoda going to Corvus. It also the beginning part with Ahsoka Tano, killing those little scout, rebel whatever people guard. Yeah, scout guards, whatever.
Yeah.
But honestly, I felt like they should have added more like per se probably more like stuff, because you know how Ahsoka Tano is. And like she has like that full potential, but it was just like a limited capacity and all that. But,
So okay, yeah. I get what you guys are saying is that going from like Clone Wars Season 7, where she was, high flying all around, flipping around, fighting Darth Maul, like obviously that was big, crazy Clone Wars prequel era action, and everybody thought bringing a prequel era Jedi into the Mandalorian would mean a lot of crazy high flying action.
Let me explain. Well, I know what you're about to say, but I want to kind of do my own like little spin take before you even say what you're about to say. All right. So I know what you're about to say, and I know you're going to talk about how in Rebel she is less like how she is in Clone Wars and everything, and I get that. But I mean, I understand that yes, she's supposed to be an older Jedi at this point, but I still feel as if, I mean, and some people were bringing up the Magistrate or whatever her name is, and how when she was fighting her that she didn't really do too well in it. But I mean, I was just like, it makes sense in that case scenario, and it's because of the fact that she wasn't trying to kill her.
Yeah.
But
okay. Yeah.
I do.
No, continue.
Oh,
right.
Continue.
Yeah, and then I'll answer chat. Yeah.
I was just saying that I feel like maybe she is just. I mean, I guess yes, you can say, because she did look like she was kind of like having fun with it, and she looked like she was just playing some games with these people, and she wasn't really trying to fight them. But I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like also she only used the Force once this whole episode.
A couple times.
A couple times.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess yes, to bring the ball over, but well, not the ball, but to force over whatever. But I mean, like an actual like combat. She only used it once. Okay. And that was when she was like pulling the guy's gun away, and that was about it.
Yeah. So to answer you and then also answer chat. So John, I see that you're kind of bringing up the same thing that Strike did as well. Is that she kind of toyed with the Magistrate. And you would have thought.
I wouldn't say toyed with her.
I think that she just kind of was not.
I mean, no,
going
she was just trying to incapacitate. Like she wasn't trying to kill.
No, exactly. I don't think
her.
that she was going full strength on anything this episode. I think that it was like if she really wanted to go full on, just like prequel era Ahsoka or even Rebels Ahsoka, where she was fighting Vader, like. Don't forget that she held her own against Vader in Rebels and everything, so there's no reason why she couldn't have, like John's saying in chat, that she couldn't have, like, just completely taken out the Magistrate in, like,
but also
5
one
seconds
other thing
flat.
I will also bring this up, is when she was fighting the Inquisitors, and she was just trying to incapacitate them, she did that even better and faster with like 2 Inquisitors. You know,
Right.
and that's
Yeah,
the one
but
thing that just
I think
you know, it's a little iffy.
No, but here also, sorry. The other thing too is I think it's harder to translate something that we saw in animation to something that we saw in live action. Like, so of course we can't have all of the crazy fight scenes that we have in animation in live action. You have a little bit more as far as restrictions go, and of course because this is a TV show as well, so we're not going to get, you know, like giant fight scenes, super intricate, whatever. We're going to get a little bit more of a basic fight scene, I guess you could say. And I don't even want to say that it was a basic fight scene. I think that it's similar to what we saw with like Maul and Obi-Wan on Tatooine back in Rebels, how it was so short, you know.
But I mean that's different. I would never understand the comparison between those two, and it's because the reason why the Maul and Obi-Wan fight on Tatooine was so different from this fight is because they knew each other's fighting style, and Obi-Wan already kind of knew how to beat Maul.
No, I'm not saying
I'm
not talking about it like in that context. I'm just saying that it's just a short fight. It's similar to that.
Well, I mean,
it's
no,
not
but the reasons as to why there's short fights are different.
No, I know that.
I mean, I'm not expecting this to be like a massive fight.
No,
but
exactly. I wasn't
also
expecting that
back
either.
up in the comparison of Rebels to this episode, like the one fight scene where she was fighting multiple, you know, Inquisitors at the same time, is in that fight scene, it was even quicker than what happened here. I mean, it was just about the same quickness.
Yeah, but I think...
And I feel like this scene maybe even took even longer, you know?
Yeah, so we're just dancing around it and going in circles. I think just for this fight scene, I think the whole purpose of it was just to show the fact that the Beskar spear can take on a lightsaber. And the reason why she didn't just kill her outright immediately or just beat her right off the bat was obviously we had to drag it out ever so slightly and get to the sort of, you know, shock reveal. Oh, where's your master? Where's Grand Admiral Thrawn? That's what we needed to get to. We needed to accomplish 2 goals with that fight scene. Show that the Beskar spear can take on a lightsaber to set up Mando in the future, possibly fighting Moff Gideon with the Darksaber with this Beskar spear, and then also set up Grand Admiral Thrawn for a possible spin-off where it's either a continuation of the Rebel story with Ezra and Thrawn and Ahsoka and Sabine in them, or if it's just an Ahsoka spin-off where she will meet up with the rest of the Rebels cast and everything. Crusader in the chat, you said maybe she didn't get enough trading. No, I don't. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. We're not letting you talk enough. We were just going back and forth.
Oh, that's fine.
What do you think? Yeah, no. What do you think about all this?
Well, with the Beskar armor, because you know, remember that little kind of like small fight scene of Ahsoka and Mando, and you can obviously see like her lightsaber didn't really do it that much, like with the Beskar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, plus the Mandalorians were like close enemies with the Jedi, so it's kind of have like beef and all that.
Yeah.
So another thing I will actually say though about this is like the last thing I'm going to say about the fight scene, but if you do remember at the end of the episode, because they always show the concept art at the end of the episode, is the fight scene is different from how it was supposed to be, whatever they were going to do before. The fight scene originally in concept was going to be inside. And they were going to do it inside that building, but it was going to be more of like a Japanese style, like
a dojo.
Yeah, it had like a very like a samurai,
like a traditional like Japanese.
Yeah, that would have been cool too. But I think that's kind of what they were trying to do with this fight scene as well. Is I think they kind of threw out like the skill aspect or whatever, and they just wanted it to be visually appealing. They wanted it to be a little bit slower, a little bit more methodical. And just a little bit more like a samurai style fight, you know what I'm saying?
I guess, yeah. I mean, but also a lot of comparisons were being drawn between that, as well as in the scene where what's it called? Where Mando was, I forget, like basically her right hand man. Well, not Mando's, but whatever.
The magistrate.
Yeah, magistrate. Her right hand man was about to put down his gun. And the lines between that and I forget which Western. It was one with Doc Holliday.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah,
I forget the
think...
names of stuff.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking
basically,
about.
though, just the way that Mando flipped his gun back in, as well as the way that he shot him, was a almost direct comparison between a scene with Doc Holliday when he Tombstone.
Tombstone,
right?
Yeah.
Tombstone. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I just forgot.
Yeah. Thank you,
basically,
John.
just the way. Huh?
No, I just said thank you, John. for
I
the
didn't
Tombstone.
even read that. I just said that myself. I didn't even read that.
Yeah, no, John put it in chat. He said
Yeah,
he said Tombstone. No, for a second I was like, Tombstone. Are you talking about zombie? Are you talking about zombies?
No. But yeah, it's a TV, not a TV show. Well, I guess they did do a TV show, but
yeah,
it's not the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically just from that original scene in Tombstone, it was basically a direct comparison. Also, just the way that Ahsoka came up to the magistrates building.
Yeah.
It was basically just like a bunch of old samurai movies.
Yeah,
you know?
and I loved that aesthetic of this episode. I thought that it paid homage to the classics very well, and I think that that's something that Mando does so well with its episodes, is each episode has its own distinct style because it has its own directors, you know?
Right.
This was an episode to me that honestly felt a lot like the episode last season where Mando went to like the village and everything and helped take out the ATST again, like that.
Why do we always bring up that
I don't know,
episode?
we always bring up
that
that
episode.
episode.
Every episode is just like episode 4 of last season.
I know, we bring that episode up a lot, but it was one of my
it was a very good episode.
Yeah, when it happened, I remember people didn't like it that much when it first aired, but people are looking back at it with a lot better light now, and I think that it's almost like the pinnacle of storytelling for the like just the formulaic Mando episode, you know.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that people but that's another thing that people were saying about this episode too, is that it could be very formulaic, is that, you know, Mando and Baby Yoda go to a new planet, Corvus. They get there, they go into town, they see something's going on. Mando talks to the magistrate, he gets a bounty. She's like, hey, there's a Jedi causing trouble, go kill her. He doesn't actually ever agree to go kill Ahsoka. He's like, oh yeah, I'll go find her, whatever. Then runs into Ahsoka, does all the, you know, training stuff, whatever. I also wanted to mention that something that a lot of people were talking about as well, which I thought was really funny, is that the little skirmish between Ahsoka and Mando knew he was in deep stuff when he was like, when he got like, you know, just ambushed basically by Ahsoka, and then like he tried to fight back for a second, and then he was like, wait, I know who you are, Ahsoka Tano, Bo-Katan sent me, chill, don't kill me. Like I thought that was pretty great.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that the reason why episode 4 of last season is such a big episode, I guess you could say, is because it really sets, as you said, the formula for the show, which is basically go to a new planet, something goes wrong or something, so you have to go ahead and help them out. Mando is like, oh, the odds are against us, helps him out, comes back, and everything's all good. You know?
I'm back.
Yeah. All right, nice. So we are talking about the comparisons between this week's episode and episode 4 from last season again.
I mean, I wouldn't say exactly the comparison.
Not really, the comparison, but just like
in general, the formula
the formulaic nature. Yeah, the formulaic nature of the Mando in general, and how that's been carrying week to week, and it's honestly still following that same formula, but I'm not sure if I have a problem with it. I know a lot of people are saying that they have issues with it, but I don't mind. It's like, instead of like an episode or a show like The Flash or Arrow or something that has a villain of the week, this is more like a quest or a bounty of the week. This is like the side quest, you know? Yeah, and it's just like, I mean, it feels.
Here's the thing, though. I feel like the show is basically, it's all the side content. You know, this is just basically a random side character that interacts with main characters, and he's carrying around another side character that is just basically the whole Anakin missed one kind of situation.
Yeah, so here that's
know?
the whole thing I wanted to talk about next is how we were talking about the Mandalorian as being so separate for so long, and a lot of us, I think, didn't want the show to delve too deeply into pre-established characters, pre-established lore. We wanted it to be its own separate thing, but of course with this week with Ahsoka coming in and kind of explaining more of that background, explaining a little bit about Baby Yoda, about Grogu, and kind of Grogu and kind of, where he comes from, what his past is and everything. So we learn in this episode that Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, was at the Jedi Temple during the time of the Clone Wars and somehow got away during Order 66. I guess Anakin missed one, like you said.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Who do you think possibly saved Grogu? What happened there? Who do you think was his master? Do you think
because I know that Crusader has a lot that he's thinking about his own theories.
Yeah. So what are So what are your theories?
I think it's just a librarian. And that's it.
Yeah, the librarian.
I just think it's a librarian.
Do you think Jocasta Nu saved Grogu?
Yeah, because she survived the Order 66.
I know, and then she did get killed by Vader only a few weeks, I think, afterwards.
This is a big.
Oh yeah,
or.
right. I think
it happened in the Vader comics.
Just hold on for a second, because this is about to get crazy. Okay.
Okay.
Dexter Jetster saved Baby Yoda.
What?
And they went away.
Dexter Jester.
Wow, what do you know?
Yeah, he just saw Baby Yoda. He's just like, wow, what do you know?
Okay, no, here. The real theory. Yaddle came back and saved Grogu because Grogu is Yoda and Yaddle's son.
No.
Wait, so who's
I don't think that would ever happen.
Who's the mom?
Yaddle is the mom.
Yaddle's the mom.
Yaddle's a woman?
Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yaddle's a woman.
I thought he was a
Jedi
boy.
Council.
No,
that would make
Yoda and
no
Yaddle
sense.
are the only other Yoda species that we have ever seen in canon.
But
so it could be like Ki-Adi-Mundi's species, where it's dying out, and he had like 5 wives to try to like repopulate and stuff. So Yoda and Yaddle do what they got to do. There you go. You got a Grogu. Do what you got to do, and you got a Grogu.
Or maybe just the whole species are just kind of force sensitive. Or maybe they just make very powerful force users. Who knows?
So Yoda's species is just like a rare occurrence, I guess.
Yeah.
Could be.
And
Master Yoda and Master Yaddle.
Yes.
Master Yaddle.
A baby Grogu.
Baby Grogu.
Why name it Grogu?
Who
Who would name their baby Grogu?
Like, can it just be like something similar to Yoda or Yaddle? Like, who thought of
Yeah,
Grogu?
I thought that it was gonna have. I thought it was gonna. He was gonna have a Y name like Yoda.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Yaddle.
thought he was too.
Yeah.
Like, what's a good Y name?
I thought it was gonna be
What's
like
a good Y name?
I don't know, like Yippee.
Yogu.
No,
Yogu.
no. Here's his name. His name is. It would go from what Anakin says in Episode 1. Yippee.
Yippee. Oh, or maybe they could just kept him at Baby Yoda. I don't really. I wouldn't really have a problem with it.
Yeah,
It's
no.
just
I mean,
Baby
I'm
Yoda
gonna
forever.
keep calling him Baby Yoda. I'll call him Grogu sometimes, but like, I mean, we're gonna also mess up and probably call him Goku.
Groku.
Wait, so if Grogu,
Lady
is
Gaga.
Grogu a boy or a girl?
A boy.
He's a he.
Okay.
He's a
Okay,
he.
okay.
He.
Making sure.
Yeah.
He's a he.
Yeah, my boy Grogu's a boy.
But I was pretty surprised in this episode. He was actually really active too.
Oh yeah, and he was like talking a lot, and he like he responded to his name like every
He's
time.
Like,
Child.
Grogu.
Grogu.
Man, it was like Grogu.
I just want him to like just be kind of like Baby Groot and just say Grogu.
Yeah.
All right, kid.
I will say this though. I feel that the episode was dabbling with a whole bunch of cool elements, and I feel like it was great to give some more backstory on Baby Yoda or Grogu. But I also kind of feel that like even though they were talking about it, and I feel like this is something that makes the Mandalorian different from every other show, at least any other Star Wars show, is that Mando was still kind of like space wizards. That's it, basically. Like, I feel like he doesn't really buy into, or at least doesn't believe this. You know, even when she's talking, like even when Ahsoka is talking about the Force, he's like, it's
true.
everything around us. And he's like, you mean his powers? Like, you know, he just thinks of it as just basic.
Well,
And I have no problem with that. And it's because he's just a basic Mandalorian dude that was, you know, raised up by a little, you know, Death Watch cult, you know, and he's just a normal dude, you know. He's just like, what is this? What is going on? You know, and I don't really think he'll buy into that kind of stuff. I don't think he'll just like start being, you know, all like, oh, the Force this and the Force that. I feel like he'll just, I don't know.
Yeah, but also remember, I think back it was in season 1, like there was a flashback when he was like a little kid.
Yeah,
And the Mandalorian saved him from the what were those people called? I forgot what they're called.
Death
the little
Watch.
droid people.
Oh yeah, from the super battle
B2
droids.
battle droids.
Yeah.
Well, the B2
All
super
that.
battle
So
droids.
he was mostly like surrounded by Mandalorian culture, but the Death Watch, like the strict, you know, Mandalorian creed and all that. So he followed by that creed and all that. And then I remember but he, like to him, he never know what a Jedi was. Like, what the heck is a Jedi? And all
Yeah, I
that.
mean, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't even teach him about the
you've
past
got-
of
the Jedi purge.
You've
Well, I mean,
got these
Mandalorian.
wizards.
It's like, what the
Huh?
wizard?
I said, and you've
Yeah,
got
I
these,
mean,
you've
also,
got
I
these
just-
wizards.
if they are really like their arch enemies, you know, especially as being a child of the Death Watch. You know, the Death Watch used to, at least in Legends, used to be the good old Crusaders of Mandalorian. They used to fight, you know, Jedi for a living, basically.
Right.
So I don't know why they never would tell him about.
Or maybe
the
it
Jedi.
was like, maybe it was just like a different type of like cult where like they don't really know much about the Jedi, where they just like they lost like a piece of history from it, so not a lot of people know about it. It's
Yeah, I mean, also you could maybe just say that it's basically the end
or
of
like
their day,
myth,
trying to
like a
survive.
myth.
Why would they
Yeah.
care about anything like
mythical
that?
legend.
Yeah,
I feel like at that point it's also just a bunch of, well, we're just trying to survive and keep our culture. That's basically all we need to know.
yeah,
know,
exactly.
I
Yeah,
think
We don't really need to know about
I
who
think
these
it's-
stupid Jedi are.
Yeah,
you know?
I kind of agree with that. I think it's the fact that, especially the sect of Death Watch that Mando grew up in, is like that wasn't important to them. Like all that was important was, you know, the strict
creed.
Mandalorian creed and the
Don't
old
take your helmet
ways.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the old ways and like all this Jedi stuff, it didn't matter. And I think that that's another thing that is going to be very important for him to learn going forward. And I saw this brought up, and I want to say it was from Star Wars Explains Q&A this week. And he mentioned the fact that Mandalorians obviously kind of reject that the traditional, like, you know, Jedi stuff. Like they don't believe in the Force, like we said, is like, oh, wizards, magic, powers, whatever, right? So what if somewhere deep down Din actually has this Force connection that he has kind of suppressed over the years or not been aware of because he wasn't taught about it, because he didn't know that this mystical force existed? But now being around Grogu, Baby Yoda, and in this episode with Ahsoka, with having everything kind of explained to him from a different perspective, and how we saw that connection between Baby Yoda and between Din kind of grow even more in this episode, where, you know, how Ahsoka and Grogu were talking kind of on like a mental, spiritual level through the Force. And then when Din got Grogu to levitate the little metal ball from the ship, that to me was possibly a Force connection between the two of them. Now, obviously, the Force lives in everybody in different capacities, and maybe Mando doesn't have a high enough, you know, midichlorian counts or whatever to actually be a Jedi. But what if he does, and what if he is like the present day common era version of the first Mandalorian Jedi, Tar Vizsla? It was Tar Vizsla, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what if he is like, what if he is the new version of Tar Vizsla? He is going to be the the new, like, going completely away from this being just like a separate thing, and it's just kind of like a stepping stone to get the Darksaber back to Bo-Katan or whatever. What if they're going all out? What if they're going crazy and Din Djarin is like not just a Mandalorian, he is legitimately the Mandalorian? You know,
I mean, it would be an interesting way to go, and I wouldn't exactly hate it, but at the same exact time, I feel like it's part of his character to just be that kind of outside perspective, and almost like how Han Solo is. Even if Han Solo did have the Force, and a lot of people believe that he does, I kind of am one of them that believe that maybe he does, even like just even a small bit based off of his serious luck. But I mean, if you realize Din, I mean, I haven't seen any possibilities of there ever being a kind of connection between the Force and him.
yeah,
Maybe I would feel like maybe he might have been Force sensitive. Just like I forget the character's name in Rogue One.
Chirrut,
yeah.
Chirrut, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, where he
I am
kind
one
of
with the Force, and the Force is with me.
yeah, where he's he kind of has a connection with the Force, but not to the extent where he can, like, you know, use the Force and everything. I don't know. I wouldn't understand that for his character, but I mean, I also would understand if that was true.
Yeah,
Because just like Tar Vizsla, it would be a break in his character, because he would be like, well, which one do I go to? Do I try to be more of like a Jedi, or do I try to be more of a Mandalorian? Because those are basically just almost just the same as being a Jedi and a Sith, you know. But Tar Vizsla found that kind of middle point, you know. So I think that it could be interesting, but
and I think we could possibly get more on that next week too, is because the whole thing with Ahsoka telling Mando to bring Grogu to what was the planet called again?
I think it was Typhon.
Tython. Yeah, Tython, and put him on. Yeah, Tython. Put him on the Seeing Stone, and he'll, you know, get his. He'll discover his own path. But what if by going there, not only Grogu's path is discovered, but also Din, that he has some sort of higher purpose than just being like the carrier for Grogu.
Yeah, the other thing, I was actually kind of thinking about that before, is this could kind of be like the Drog Trip kind of episode, you know, where they like just go all into the Force, and they just they experience a whole bunch of crazy stuff, just like how when Luke went into the cave on Dagobah.
Yeah, I think this could be that episode.
Ooh.
And if you realize also, if you remember, I forget which planet they went to, but when Ezra was met up with basically Yoda, but the ghost of Yoda, the Force ghost of Yoda, and then went through a whole bunch of stuff in that in the little
I remember
well.
That. Yep.
I don't know. It could be very interesting.
That could be. That's like also a good theory, honestly.
Or it could just, I mean, because here's the thing, it could just be like, oh, all that's going on, and they're starting to figure stuff out, and then out of nowhere, Moff Gideon, boom, explosion, Dark Troopers come in, and then
I can feel like that's going to happen next episode after like Mando puts Grogu on the Seeing Stone, then all like stuff breaks loose with Moff Gideon, the Death Troopers, and then he's gonna get like cornered, and then like some miracle happens where I don't know, like who knows, like maybe Cara Dune or the rest of the gang of Mando's little friends help out, but who knows? I don't know.
Maybe he might pull a Fallen Order and just like come out with like a lightsaber and just start wrecking everybody.
Well, yeah, it's like now he's got the first step to wielding a lightsaber, or possibly the Darksaber in the future now with the Beskar spear, and like, you know, Ahsoka trusts him with it at the end. He's like, hey, this belongs with you, you know. And I think, and they also made such a big deal out of it, like he's gonna fight somebody with a lightsaber with that spear. But yeah, what were you saying?
So can anyone wield a lightsaber? Like, because
I think anybody can.
Well, I mean, Finn. Well, we don't know, because Finn might also be a Force user.
But I mean, I think also, like, we saw Han use a lightsaber to like cut open the Tauntaun to save Luke in Empire and stuff like that. So we've seen non-Force.
Chewbacca hasn't used a lightsaber yet.
Right. I mean, we've seen non-Force users use lightsabers, so that's you know, wouldn't be surprising if you know, Moff Gideon's not Force sensitive. He has a lightsaber. Like, you know, Sabine trained with the Darksaber and everything. She's not Force sensitive. But then again,
So
maybe everybody's force sensitive to an extent, and it gets
other
into that
question
whole
is-
thing.
Well, another question, but this is something just completely off topic. If I ever was in the Star Wars universe, if I ever had a friend that was force sensitive, the first thing I'd ask, can I wield that lightsaber just for 5 seconds? Just turn it on and just like vroom, vroom. And I don't know. I think that'd be so cool.
vroom vroom that
Cut your
lightsaber real quick.
Huh?
Cut your finger.
Cut your finger.
Just cut your whole hand off.
No,
Hey,
I
let me
just-
see this real quick. Oh, don't look down at
Yeah, no, I like that meme. Just like Luke looking into the thing and just.
just like the porgs
Oh yeah. Man.
deleted scene.
But here, do you guys have anything else to add on that, or do you want to go back to talking a little bit about the Ahsoka stuff? Because there's a couple of things with Ahsoka that I still want to touch on.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, so when Mando was first looking for her and he was going through the forest, the destroyed forest or whatever, we see up on a tree branch, might I say, we see a big old obvious reference back to Clone Wars and Rebels with the little owl with Morai, which is from the Mortis arc, which is the embodiment of the daughter who was on Mortis, who was like the representation of the light side, who gave her life to save Ahsoka there, and then Morai has kind of always not been too far behind wherever Ahsoka is. Like, she basically symbolizes like, oh, Ahsoka's here. So what do you think that meant? Was that just a cool reference that obviously because it was a Dave Filoni thing, he just threw Morai in here because, Morai equals Ahsoka? Or do you think it was something deeper than that? Do you think maybe Morai was there kind of following Mando and Baby Yoda because it was like sensing Baby Yoda's force connection, or possibly Din's force connection as well, or it was just there because Ahsoka was there?
No, I just think it was there just because Ahsoka
I
was
don't
there.
know. I think honestly it could be just an Easter egg.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
I
what I'm
I
thinking
just think it's
too.
something cool just for some people.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking at this point right now as well. Is just it was kind of there just because it was there.
One thing I will say though, and this is something that we're going to talk about, I guess a little bit later as well, is when it comes down to Ahsoka, my only question is, what was she doing in the world between worlds for so long? Where was she? What was she doing? What was she figuring out? Anything like that? I don't know. That's just the one thing that I have a question about,
Well,
and
I don't
know
think
if I'll ever get that answered.
I don't think she was on the. I don't think she was in the world between worlds for that long. From my understanding of what happened in that Rebels episode, so Ezra pulled her out from that Vader fight. They were in the world between worlds for that episode, and then when she went back to where she was, but in present day. So I don't think that any extra time had passed. The only extra time that had passed was between when Ahsoka got out of the world between worlds at the end of Rebels to the time jump at the epilogue for Rebels.
Yeah. But
I think that's the only time that really passed where she got the white cloak and everything, which I was actually surprised we didn't really see in this.
But I also feel like something that's kind of confusing to me is when Ezra pulled her out from basically almost dying to Darth Vader, because she was literally one strike away from dying.
Yeah.
And when he did that and he basically saved her life, did that mess up the universe in any way, shape, or form, or was that just kind of
No,
and
I don't.
Vader just I wonder what Vader was thinking. Was he just oh, I almost killed her, and then just this random dude just comes through this portal and grabs her and then disappears? Was he just dang? Hey, it's whatever though.
I don't think that anything that happens within the world between worlds is timeline altering. I think everything that happens is supposed to happen the way it does. Is no matter what, I think Ahsoka was meant to continue on from that point. I don't think she was ever meant to die in the fight with Vader. However it happened is how it happens, but I think it's kind of like a chicken and the egg thing, and a time travel sort of did going back to try to fix something cause this to happen did it always happen because I always went back to fix it, or it gets you in that
No,
like
time travel's
like
confusing.
weird
Let's just not
time
even talk
travel.
about it anymore.
It gets you in that
What-
weird time travel loop.
You lose people when you start talking about time travel.
I don't know. I think we could have a
Too
really
complicated.
interesting stream about talking about time travel, but then when we talk about
It's like
time
trying
travel,
to explain
then,
the Flash storyline.
oh yeah, it's trying to explain Savitar.
of,
We
like,
could
the
go for
show.
like we could go
Like,
for
a
like
Flash
3
TV
hours
show.
trying to explain Savitar.
Exactly. Plus, with
Yes.
time travel, that'd be pretty interesting if like later in the future, probably like in the year like 3000, like where we actually invented time travel. And I'm pretty sure there's gonna be like other alternate universe like reality where actually like Star Wars is like really like exists. And that'd be really cool.
It,
That could
it's
be
it's
interesting,
it's a
too.
long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, so maybe it really
Yeah,
did
exactly.
happen.
Who
and the
knows?
Like,
whole
I
thing
mean,
with-
I would honestly live in the Star Wars universe.
But
Just
you
let me-
know,
let me- let me,
actually, the whole
experience that
thing
real quick.
though too with Star Wars is that the whole like the Journal of the Wills theory and stuff is that it's supposed to really be in the past of our own history, and it's just the story being what is it? What was the original title? It was like the what was it? The Journey of Luke Starkiller, as told from the Journal of the Wills or something. Was like
Yeah.
the original like full George Lucas title for Star Wars, and like I don't know, that's kind of cool.
George Lucas is a will.
Yo,
and he's just
wait,
hiding it
hold
from
on.
us the whole time.
Speaking of the wills, what if like the Seeing Stone and stuff has something to do with that?
I don't think though. I don't think about that. I mean, I think that it's gonna be more of just like a Luke on Dagobah kind of scene, as well as like an Ezra in a Jedi temple kind of thing. I don't think it's gonna be crazy like that. I mean, I know that yes, Dave Filoni as well as Jon Favreau are doing pretty crazy things, but I think that it's more or less if anything crazy is gonna happen, it's gonna be the Jedi that we see there. I don't think that they're gonna go that far.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's okay. Here, before we get into what we could possibly see next week with Tython and stuff like that, last thing, I liked how Ahsoka talked about the Force and everything, how she explained stuff from like Clone Wars, and how I really liked the part where she was like, oh, Grogu's connection to Din is too strong. It's like he sees you as a father, and that's why I won't train him. I've seen how this connection can corrupt even the best of us, basically referencing Anakin and stuff. So I thought that was great. But it also brings up another question: is has she interacted with Luke yet? Does she know that in the end Vader came back to being Anakin? That in the end Anakin did the right thing?
I don't think she's ever met Luke Skywalker.
So
I
do
don't
you think
that she ever probably will.
But yeah, well then
To be
that's the other question. Is a lot of people are thinking that now Din taking Baby Yoda to Tython, that it's Grogu send out the signal, find your own path, and if a Jedi wants to train you, they'll come and train you. Do you think that that's going to be Luke, or do you think that's too much of a stretch? And if it is Luke, do you think that Luke will eventually meet Ahsoka?
I don't think that it's going to be Luke at all.
Yeah, that's like a far stretch though, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it would be really cool to see Luke, but they're going kind of far, but I don't think they're going to go that far. I
Like
think
if they were going to actually do that, they legit have to like call up the actor, like, hey, can you like do this and so. But I'm pretty sure he's gonna be like, I don't know. It's
you know
gonna
what
be,
also
like,
would be
iffy.
kind of
I think it
interesting,
would
though,
be.
is
I
feel
think
like
it would be hard to get Mark Hamill back and
Yeah.
to like do the digital de-aging. But I think with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, it would be a little bit easier to convince him. But I think
Right.
if
yeah,
we
but I mean,
see,
I don't even think that it's just that. I think that like something that would be kind of interesting to happen is we see Yoda, well, not Yoda, but Baby Yoda and Mando there, and he sits him up on the Seeing Stone, like, oh, nothing's happening or whatever, and then boom, well, not Grandma, but Moff
Gideon.
comes in, and then all of a sudden,
from
they're like,
cut.
oh, we gotta go, so they go, and then like the end of the season, you see like Luke Skywalker's hand like open up like the door or something and go
Oh,
inside.
yeah,
and he's
that
like,
would
oh,
be-
there's nobody here. No,
that
okay.
would be.
It was
Ooh,
a-
that would be
It was a
interesting.
glitch, or not?
That
a
would
glitch,
be
it was not a-
interesting.
The
And then
force,
maybe-
the force tricked me.
Right, but then like what if this whole thing like brings together like like Mando, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan and stuff, they're fighting Moff Gideon, and like they cross paths with like Luke, and you know, what if like Ezra comes in, and you know, we also had the Thrawn reference. Like they're bringing so much. There's so much happening, and I don't know what to believe. And then Boba Fett. What the heck's going on with where's Boba Fett? What's going on with that?
I feel like the characters that we see right now are. I feel like the characters that we see now are going to be the really. I feel like if they're ever going to bring anybody in, it's only going to be people that are from like TV shows or anything. I don't think they're going to do anything crazy. Speaking of crazy, crazy theory I heard was that Moff Gideon could be one of the kids that Anakin was like, "Oh, I'll come back for you guys," and then just never did.
Yeah, no, is that he was like his buddy from the pod race that everybody like memes
it's
about?
Just like at this point,
I don't think that's
like
that's
everything is getting too much, and I feel like they understand that they don't want to do too much.
Yeah,
I feel like that they understand that, you know. I feel like Jon Favreau, as well as, of course, just blanking, as well as
Filoni.
Basically, yeah, Dave Filoni and, you know, Jon Favreau. I feel like they just realize that they want to do a lot, but I feel like at the same exact time they also understand that this is supposed to be its own story, you know. And I feel like that's something that's missing from the Star Wars universe, is just that everything has to be connected. No, it doesn't. You know, it can just be a story. You know, we just can have a Star Wars story. You know,
like Han Solo.
Yeah,
exactly.
Rogue One.
Yeah, well, I mean,
those
even
were kind
those
of
to an extent
even,
were just kind of like Han Solo was just like a checklist, or Solo was just like a checklist: how to get his blaster, how to get the Millennium Falcon, how to meet Chewie, how to meet Lando. Like, you know, I liked the movie, but it kind of was just like a checklist.
Yeah. But honestly, like, do you think next episode is actually going to be them going to Typhon to the ruined Jedi Temple? Or is it just be another filler episode?
Well,
no.
Here's the
thing. At this point, there can't be any more filler episodes.
Yeah,
they only have 3 episodes left, and the last one just has to be the big old fight, whatever that's going to be.
Yeah, but
so
honestly,
I wish 2 episodes to build the story forward.
I wish they had actually an episode where Mando actually meets Boba Fett.
He probably
like an
will.
encounter. Like,
yeah,
because like we only seen a glimpse of Boba Fett like at the end of like.
I think that it would just.
Well, here we're coming up on the last 3 episodes, so something's got to happen.
I think that'd be kind of cool though if we saw like throughout the season, just like Boba Fett just like chilling in the background everywhere he goes. I think that'd always be.
That'd be cool. Interesting.
You know, like and he just is like chilling in like that dark alleyway or something. You know.
Also, do you think Mando like still has Boba Fett's armor like in his ship?
Oh yeah, it's in there somewhere.
Yeah,
it's in there.
Because I was wondering where it was. Because like ever since with that ice spider, I was like, I wonder all the where the armor went. I wonder where it went. Like, did he like put it somewhere, or like it just?
You know, it'd be funny. What if a spider like lays an egg inside of his like helmet or something, and like a spider like comes out into his helmet. And he's like, there's a spider in my suit. It falls down a hole and gets trapped in there for like 1,000. Just like the Starlight pick.
Okay, so
I honestly still just want to figure out how he got out.
Out of the Starlight pit. Yeah, we'll figure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll eventually be explained. Maybe. I don't know.
Just need a tiebreaker on that.
I don't know. So here, what do we think is going to happen in these last 3 episodes? So we've got 6, 7, 8 for the season. Next week, it seems like we're going to go to Tython. Something could happen, but again, this is the back half of the season. I don't think we're taking any more detours. I think it's full steam ahead from here on out. I think we're going to go to Tython and probably have Moff Gideon catch up to Mando and Baby Yoda with his fleet of dark troopers.
Oh, Lord.
We're going to probably have something happen with that, and then Mando is going to get away, and then maybe we're going to have an episode of him again, kind of like last season, is rounding up the troops, going back, getting Bo-Katan again, getting Ahsoka again, and maybe getting like Cara Dune and Grief Karga, and like, hey, we gotta fight Moff Gideon again.
Yeah.
And then that'll be the final. And then that'll be the final episode. And then maybe Boba kind of slots in there somewhere too.
Yeah, Boba slots in.
I don't want Boba to be a side character.
I think that he's gonna be somebody that we think, that the characters think is just like, oh, let me help you guys out. You know,
like a wannabe Cobb Vanth.
I think that he's gonna pull.
Cobb Vanth has got to come back too. Cobb Vanth.
I think he's gonna pull like a straight up like episode 8. I forget the guy's name, but the guy they meet like in the casino,
Oh,
and then he's like, I'm
what's
your
his
friend,
name?
and then he's not, or in the jail actually. Whatever, I don't remember episode 8.
Remember when everybody thought he was playing Ezra?
Ezra, yeah.
Oh my god. What's his name again?
I don't know.
I mean, the character's name was DJ. What's the actor's name?
I forget his name. I forget everybody's name.
Benicio del Toro. That's who it was.
Yeah.
Yes, Benicio
You just
del Toro.
remember that name off the top? I was like,
Yes,
man, I don't-
yeah.
But
I was just
I do completely agree with you on that one. I do completely agree with you, EJ, in the sense of ambush and then rally up the troops.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then final episode.
Do you think Moff Gideon would like if like he somehow like probably like damage Mando? Do you think he would kidnap Grogu?
Oh,
could.
that's also the other theory going
Somebody else
around
I was
is
thinking,
that is that Grogu could get captured in this next episode, and then like the
We
final
must save
couple
the child.
episodes, is save the child again before they take his blood or something.
Let me take your blood.
And
I
then
want to drink your blood.
okay, then the other thing. What?
No, I just like how right after I said that, everybody just paused, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so the last thing, not last thing, but I guess maybe last big thing from this episode, right, was again going back to that final fight with Ahsoka and the magistrate, and then we got the big bombshell. She's like, "Where's your master? Where's Grand Admiral Thrawn?" I was not expecting a Thrawn name drop this episode at all, but I'm totally here for it. Do you think that it's set up for something that will be paid off here on The Mandalorian, or do you think that that is set up for Filoniverse? And that is what I kind of want to transition into talking about now, if you guys are done with the episode and kind of future speculation for this season.
I feel like
but do you think that
that could lead into the next show, I guess, that he's going to be doing? But also, I don't know if you saw that possibly 2 actors were picked up for a Boba Fett series, possibly. There's a whole bunch of possibilities going forward.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we.
I will say this though, I feel that they could do something. I wouldn't be mad if it was back to animated or whatever they're gonna do. But I feel like they're still on the lookout for Ezra, and I feel like there's still something that goes along with that. If you didn't realize, the HK droids were also had the Thrawn 7th Fleet logo on the side of their heads. So Thrawn is still up and about. I mean, we kind of knew that both Ezra and also Thrawn were still alive.
Yeah.
We never knew exactly what happened between them. But
yeah.
But I do like the connection with Star Wars Rebels and the Clone Wars and all that. So it's pretty interesting. But I also am wondering like who was that hired gunfighter was. You know, that hired gunfighter. I
like the right hand of the magistrate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he. Yeah, I don't think he.
I
don't think he
like
matters.
killable dude.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing with the magistrate.
Dude.
I think that she's not really that important.
Yeah,
I feel like
I don't
she's
think...
just like one of the head goons, but nothing. Like,
yeah,
too
she's
big.
just like just kind of somebody.
Like, do you think Ahsoka like killed her or like just?
Yeah, a lot of people are saying
her.
it's like she got the information and marked her. You're right.
Yeah,
but then
this
also,
is like, what is this, Cold War?
too though, is do you think that whether or not they're connected or not, like for Mandalorian specifically, but do you think that Moff Gideon is also working for Thrawn?
He could, and
honestly,
this could.
Do you think it's kind of like there's always a bigger fish?
Yeah, like honestly, I'm pretty sure with the remnants of the Great Empire, and I know Thrawn was more like the Republic and all that. So probably maybe like it's like there's like probably like a bigger fish, like what you guys said. Like there's like someone like way bigger than the remnants of the Empire. And maybe it's like the building up of the First Order.
It could. Well, no, it wouldn't be the First Order. Is if you know anything about the Thrawn books, whether or not they be the canon Thrawn novels or the legend stuff, it's he's part of the race of the Chiss, right? And there's like this whole thing, the Chiss ascendancy and stuff like that, and that is like a big thing. I'm not sure how much of that crosses over between canon and legends. But I know there was a point where he had a giant empire-sized organization, basically. So there's possibly room for them to either say, yes, Moff Gideon and Thrawn are connected and it's Empire stuff, or that, again, this was just completely separate and this was set up for either the Rebel sequel series, whether or not that be live action or animated, or an Ahsoka spinoff, or an Ezra and Thrawn show, or whatever they're planning next for, or whatever Dave Filoni is planning next, I guess, for
I mean, it would
the future of Star Wars TV.
It would make sense though, because also you got to think Moff Gideon's only a Moff, and then also Thrawn is a Grand Admiral,
Right?
But it also depends on if they got out, when they got out, and what really was going on, because all that Ezra stuff happened basically at the beginning of the Empire, and nothing that's happened in the 4 through 6 movies were important or even happened at that time. So the big question is really, what is going to be happening with Ezra and Thrawn? They might just say, oh, not Grand Moff, but Moff Gideon at the end of the season, they might kill him or something, right? They might think, oh, it's all over, we're all good now, and then Grand Admiral Thrawn comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You thought.
Hey, you
So,
thought.
You think Urza would be like the Jedi that would teach Grogu? Because if Thrawn is alive, then Urza's probably alive.
Ezra?
Ezra could be alive.
Maybe.
I don't think that he's trained enough for that yet.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't really remember how old he was when the series ended. But
I think he was. I think, to be completely honest, I think Ezra would probably be around the same age that Cal Kestis would be.
So like
at this time too,
mid-20s. So
yeah, that's also the other question. Is
Yeah.
What about Cal Kestis and all them? But I don't think they're ever going to cross over.
No, I don't think that they're gonna cross that over either. I think if anybody trains Baby Yoda that isn't Mando or Ahsoka, it's gonna be Luke.
Yeah.
That's
And the other question is,
far stretch, honestly.
he might just. He might also, if he finds Luke at the end of the show or whatever, he might just pass Luke over to Baby Yoda.
And then Baby Yoda over to Luke.
Also, you think it'd be cool if when Mando plays Grogu on the seeing side, we actually see a flashback on how he got
that would be. I would love to see that. So let's go back to that. Let's go back to that. Who do you think? There's the other big thing too. What if Mace Windu saved Grogu?
That could also be the other thing,
yeah. So Samuel L. Jackson is always like, oh, Jedi can survive falls from incredible heights, right? So I think it's pretty much common knowledge now that Mace Windu should be alive out there somewhere. What if Mace should? So what if Mace, flew out the window, like we said before, came back into the Jedi Temple, knew how important Grogu was, because he's part of the same race as Yoda, and possibly that species is just, incredibly gifted in the Force, and they always have high midichlorian counts and everything. He knew how important he was, so Mace probably risked his own life again to ensure the safety of the child.
Yeah.
And there's another, continuing on with all these spin-off rumors, there was that rumor, remember, of a young Mace Windu spin-off that would also have older Samuel L. Jackson Mace in there as well. So that could be interesting.
There's a whole lot of possibilities.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's so many different possibilities. Everybody in chat, what do you think? Who do you think saved Grogu back in the day? Or do you think Anakin really did just miss one?
Or just legit missed one. But wait, didn't Mace Windu die during Order 66 from Emperor Palpatine?
Yeah, he everybody gets their arm chopped off. Yeah, everybody's hand gets chopped off. Everybody gets their hand chopped off. Everybody gets shocked by lightning. He got no worse than Luke got in episode 6, 5 to 6. And also, Luke got his hand chopped in Empire, right? Luke got his hand chopped off, and he fell down a bottomless pit.
And also got shocked.
And then he got electrocuted by the Emperor in episode 6. So Luke has had all 3 of these things happen to him. Mace just had him happen in quick succession.
Yeah.
But
so
Luke survived. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Mace can survive. And also, don't forget, Mace also uses a part of the dark side sometimes, too. So maybe he somehow tipped into that a little bit just to save himself, keep himself
here's the thing,
alive.
if you think about this, if Maul could literally get chopped in half and fall down a giant hole.
Oh, yeah, anybody
and
can survive.
end up on a trash planet and then make himself legs. Then
Kenobi.
Mace Windu could just survive.
But honestly, like if they show like a flashback when he like is on the Seeing Stone, like from like what we can see like out of what actually happened during Order 66 at the Jedi Temple, then we would probably have like a better perspective like who actually saved Grogu.
Yeah.
And like why he got transported to that one area from back in season 1 when we first saw Grogu.
Right. I would love to see that for
'Cause,
sure.
Like we don't even know. Like we don't know. Like okay, so he came from the Jedi Temple from Coruscant, but like there's like no like input and all that like from it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
We need
Exactly.
to know like what happened.
We need to know what happened. We need to get to the bottom of this.
This is like being like Sherlock Holmes right now. Like
Yeah, I know. We gotta just like look at all the
Nancy
details.
Drew, the Hardy Boys.
For
I
the
feel like,
longest time, I didn't know that those two crossed over. I feel dumb for not knowing that.
The what?
What, that Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys used to like cross over.
They do
Yeah,
crossover.
Yeah, I feel
There's
so.
There's a lot of TV shows that do crossovers.
I know. I feel so dumb for not
Yeah.
knowing that for a while.
Books too. It's weird.
Yeah. Man, I wonder if Riverdale would ever cross over.
It better cross over with
Stranger Things.
no,
Oh,
no. I
man.
think it has to cross over with what's it called? With I was about to say Nancy Drew. What is that other show? You watch it. Tazz. What is it?
Oh, Sabrina.
Yeah, Sabrina.
Yes.
I literally am not thinking. I'm not able to think about anything tonight.
Oh god,
I
yeah.
can't even think of common things.
Okay, but here I will ask you to think about something else. Out of all the possible spin-offs that could happen, out of Boba Fett, Rebel sequel series,
Boba Fett.
Ahsoka, you want Boba Fett?
Boba Fett.
Okay.
Boba Fett, doy. We saw freaking Boba Fett.
I know. Well,
I want a Boba Fett series. Okay, everybody's had their chance. Where is Boba Fett's chance?
A Boba Fett
Where is
series.
it? Where is it? I don't care who's listening.
And how
Dave
he got out with
Filoni.
Scarlet Pit.
Okay, John Favreau. Where is it?
Can we just have a spin-off?
Where
Yeah,
is
a
it?
spin-off of Boba Fett, but it's kind of like the Mandalorian, but it's just like legit.
Sorry,
But
I love
I
Boba
just
Fett.
honestly want to see like how he got out of Scarlet Pit and like what he did.
yeah,
Like,
I want to see that too.
What did he do on his spare time? Like, what did he even do? Like, and all that. I just want to know. Just want to know that.
Yeah.
Want to know what happened at Coruscant with Grogu, and why he got into that little whatever base thing. I forgot that little bandit base and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
last question. What do you want to see, Taz?
okay, well, I mean, the obvious answer is I want to see everything.
No.
But so if I had to only pick one, you're gonna hate me because I know you guys want your Boba Fett,
I
but
don't care.
I'm happy. I get my fill of Mandalorians with the Mando. I love Boba Fett. You guys have made me enjoy the Boba Fett
Boba Fett's
character a
not a
lot
Mandalorian.
more. Yeah, so you know, you guys have gotten me into Boba Fett a lot more recently. But to be honest, as a fan of the Jedi and sort of the Force using lore, I think, and now seeing Ahsoka in live action, I think that Ahsoka series / Rebels continuation in live action form, that is what I want to see the most from the Filoniverse, and I think that is very likely now, especially with everything that's been said post this episode, everything that was said in the episode. You know, they literally introduced Ahsoka in the same way like they introduced Barry Allen on Arrow all those years ago, the same way that they introduce a lot of these characters that are pre-established in other lore. They bring them in, they, you know, make their costume, they're like, oh, they're super awesome, super badass, this is the character. Do you guys like it? Do you guys like this character? Seems like the reception has been overwhelmingly positive. I know that Crusader, you mentioned before we went on that you were a little bit disappointed that we didn't have the original Ahsoka voice. Like, you know, I am too. Obviously, they could have gone the route that they did with Darth Maul and have like Ashley Eckstein do kind of like voiceover for Rosario Dawson's live action Ahsoka, but I think the translation from animation to live action here was really good. Like, she felt like Ahsoka in this episode. She had a lot of Ahsoka quirks. She said a lot of things that, you know, you would just think that an older version of Ahsoka would say and do. So I really enjoyed this version of the character. So I think that's kind of where I want to see the Filoniverse go. That's just me. That's just me. And also, what were you saying?
I was just saying that it makes sense, you know.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that, you know, it's also something, of course, I want to see myself too. But I mean, if I had to choose one, the only reason why I would choose Boba Fett over any other series is just because we haven't seen much of Boba Fett.
Yeah,
he's been there since literally since the Star Wars special.
Yeah, I totally get that as well. I totally see where you're coming from with that as well.
He has he literally only has 5 lines.
Put
he has 5 lines.
Put Captain Solo in the cargo hold.
He has 5 lines in a movie, and one of them is Yeah, it's like he barely talks. He's barely done anything. There's nothing in the comics. There's nothing at all. But I mean, all I'm saying is there's a lot already for Ahsoka. There's a lot already for a lot of these other characters. And that's why I want Boba Fett stuff, is because as a fan of him, we don't have anything, and it's sad. You know, before Legends, we had a whole bunch of stuff, but now we got nothing.
Yeah. Well, here, another Ahsoka thing that I wanted to mention, I guess, while we're talking about like future things, is so the biggest complaint I think a lot of people had about her design, at least, is like it's pretty much spec for spec, like this is Ahsoka, but the only thing people had issues with were the head tails, the hair, not hair, but you know what I'm saying, like her head thing, that it was a lot shorter than it was in Rebels. And yeah, so I didn't have a problem with it. I noticed it, but it didn't bother me.
Guys, remember, it's gonna get shorter when you get older, you know. With those end tails, it's get shorter when you get older.
It was obviously, it was getting no, but if you look at Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff, it got longer. So
well, yeah, but I'm saying when you get older, then it gets shorter.
I don't know. So no, but so the reason why they were shorter was for stunts, is what they said, is is just to make it easier to do stunts, and they said that they will look into making them longer in the future. So that to me means we will see more live action Ahsoka in one form or another, whether that be in Mandalorian season 3 or in an Ahsoka spinoff. And I don't think that they would go through all this trouble and cast Rosario Dawson in this role and everything if they weren't planning on doing more Ahsoka. Just like I don't think they would go through all the trouble of bringing Tamora Morrison back as Boba Fett for like a little 5-second teaser if they weren't if they weren't going to give us more Boba Fett either at the end of this season of The Mandalorian and or in his own spinoff, which again is something that's rumored. So I think in addition to Mandalorian season 3, an Ahsoka spinoff, a Boba Fett spinoff, and what's it called? Obi-Wan. Like, there's still, you know, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, and I think that's just another thing. We have a lot of these endings where it's just a lot like, well, let's have to see where it goes, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how a lot of these are going, is just more when time comes, like, you know, we can speculate as much as we want and we can guess and hope for as much as we can. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's whatever they come up with. And I think Disney's seeing that this stuff is very popular.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know why they would stop it. I don't know why they wouldn't want to continue doing it.
I think it only gets bigger from here. I think the universe only expands more and more from here. And I think that this was a big step forward with bringing it, showing, like, you know, a lot of people were saying Disney was afraid to continue with Jedi, to bring more Jedi into live action. And of course, bringing in Ahsoka, she has her white lightsabers. Like, it's not like they went back to the blue sabers or anything. Like, no, it's the canon white sabers, like gray Jedi, two sabers, and she is like full on Ahsoka, right? Full on Jedi. We have full on Darksaber, we have full on just Jedi lore and the possibility of making Din like the new version of Tar Vizsla. Like the possibilities are just endless here.
I feel like Disney was trying to do their own thing at the beginning, and now they're giving it off to the people that actually know what they're doing.
Yeah.
When it comes to Star Wars content.
Yeah.
And I feel like they just need to back up and basically just, I mean, we can tell, Disney's probably in for the money, as any big company would be in for. And the thing is, if you want to get the money, you got to get the fans what they want, And if the fans want actual, new, awesome lore and content, just let the people that know what they're doing do it. Dave Filoni worked hand in hand with George Lucas, original creator of Star Wars, of course. So he knows a lot that goes on. He knows the thought process of George Lucas. And also on top of that, they got Jon Favreau, of course, who's doing the show. And I mean, he just does everything great. Basically, he's done Marvel great, and now he's coming over and helping out Star Wars. So I mean, I have no problem with it.
Yeah, no, I think this episode specifically is everybody was kind of like, oh, just wait till Dave Filoni does his episode this year. It's going to be great, written, directed by him. And if it wasn't already clear, this man needs to be like in charge of Star Wars one day.
Yes.
Like
100%.
he knows Star Wars. He knows what the fans want. He knows how to make stuff happen. Like he knows
him and his cowboy hat.
Yeah, Dave Filoni is the savior of Star Wars, legitimately. Like he is, like you said, he was basically George Lucas's apprentice, and I think it's only right that he has such a big role in Star Wars going forward.
It's like poetry, it rhymes.
It's like poetry, it rhymes. All right, Crusader, what do you get to say?
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention.
We were just starting to go off on like absolutely, we don't even know what, but basically just like final thoughts for the future.
Yeah,
I think I've said
on this episode.
Just final thoughts on everything. Final thoughts on this episode. Final thoughts on like what you think is spin-offs and stuff. Everything.
Well, I think having spin-offs is pretty good, especially like the one about Boba Fett and all that. But I don't think they should really be like more to the extent where they just like kind of like like the saying goes, like you're just milking the cow, like and all that. I don't think they should be doing that. They should just do some specified like shows where they can actually make it or what the fans want, but they shouldn't be like is doing like more things like like how the Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and whatever that The Rise of Skywalker, like those movies to me those were like not really that good. But if they like actually like sit down and talk about it and actually plan it out, I think they would actually make a really good like TV show. So like probably like a lot of good seasons, in my opinion.
Yeah. No,
so,
I mean,
I completely agree with you, man.
Totally agree. I think they just need to keep doing what works and let the people that know what they're doing stay in charge. And I think also take risks and bring back stuff that people enjoy. And I know that when Disney first bought Star Wars, they were afraid of the prequel era. And I think them having The Mandalorian set where it is in the timeline was them being safe with things, but now bringing in different aspects of lore from the past, from the Clone Wars, from the prequel era, from even before with the Darksaber and stuff. I think that it just kind of puts us on the course for some really, really, really good Star Wars material going forward. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to see what happens next. And I think for kind of the first point in this entire season, I'm not really sure what is going to happen next. Like, I have a general idea, but like up to this point, like everything that was leaked and rumored to happen, like the Cobb Vanth thing, the Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, all that stuff that was leaked and rumored has come and gone. And it was amazing. It was just as good, if not better, than I thought it was going to be. But now we have 3 episodes of just where everything is up in the air, and I have no clue what's going to happen. We've got Din and Grogu versus the galaxy. And, I'm excited. That's that.
Yeah.
Anything else that you guys have to add? If not, I guess anything that anybody has in chat, say, speak now or forever hold your peace, and I guess we'll wrap things up if there's nothing else to talk about. I think this is just kind of a strictly Mandalorian and Filoniverse stream. There's not really anything else to talk about as far as stuff outside of the Star Wars galaxy goes, so anything else you guys have to add? And if not, I guess we'll wrap things up.
Yep.
You good? All right.
Yeah, I think I'm all good.
Yep, I'm good.
Alrighty. An hour 20. Nice stream there. Kind of hitting the midpoint. Not too short, not too long. But yeah, I had fun talking to you guys tonight. I loved this episode, like I said before. And yeah, just excited for more. So if there is nothing else in chat, which there doesn't appear to be, I think we'll wrap things up. So thank you guys again so much for coming out to the stream for another episode of the Legion Lounge Live. We will be back again, same time, same day, hopefully next week. We'll be back Sunday night at 9 o'clock again, talking about the next episode of The Mandalorian, as well as what else other news comes out at that time. So yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching. See you next week, and go watch Mando if you haven't. So, but until next time, guys, it's been Tazz, Strike, and Crusader, and we will see you guys in the next live stream.